Welcome to the online tutorial series for the U-Rule search tool. In this tutorial, we're going to learn how to apply rules to our searches so that we can eliminate items that we may not be interested in. We can add positive value scores to items that we are interested in, and we can weight down scores on items that we may not be interested in but don't want to eliminate completely. This particular tutorial builds on the previous tutorial where we created a search using the U-Rule search tool. We're going to start with that search. In this case, we had created one called Antique Early American Chairs. If I click Edit on the search, I'll see that there are two tabs, the search terms, which I had added when I made my search, and the search rules. When I click on search rules at this point, there are no rules created. There are two ways I can create rules in the U-Rule tool. One way is by clicking here and adding a rule directly. And another way is from the actual search results that come back themselves. The second way is the way we're going to go first. It's a bit easier for us to see what our search results are and then to pick and choose what things we may want to weight up, weight down, or exclude. We'll come back to this interface when we're done and see how we can see all of our rules and also edit our rules directly from the search itself. I'm going to start now by running our search in the tool. Now we'll notice as we run our search that both searches run and I get a full set of search results that come back. Now there are indicators in here of things I may be interested in when I'm looking for these chairs, and there may be things that I see that I am not interested in that I want to eliminate. So right now I've gotten 226 different items that have returned back from my two eBay searches. This gives me a combined consolidated result. Now there may be cases where I want to eliminate things. For example, I know that I don't want doll furniture. I'm looking for real chairs. So in this case I have dolls and bears that have come back. And I want to eliminate this particular, anything that may be in this category from my results. I'm going to select and highlight the category, and this starts the process of adding a new rule. When I highlight by sweeping and clicking and right click, you'll notice that I have some options that appear in a pop-up menu. I can either open the item, in which case it will launch my web browser and show this item in eBay directly. I can add this item to my calendar, and we'll see how to do that in a later tutorial. Or I can use this option, which is for me to add a new rule. I apologize if the screen may be a little bit clipped, but on the full screen you'll see the word new rule appear. In this case I'm going to click add a new rule, and this gives me my rule interface. Now a rule is pretty easy to read if I just read across from left to right. In this case, the defaults come up. When the title contains the phrase dolls and bears, add score, in this case 0. Well, I'm going to modify this to meet what my goal is. My goal is to eliminate anything where the category contains the phrase dolls and bears. I want to exclude the item from my results. And click OK. I've now made a new rule. Now let's say I wanted to do things like add points to older chairs because I want them to appear at the top, and weight down the scores of newer chairs, the post-1950 chairs on my list. One thing I can do would be to click and highlight post-1950 and add a new rule. Now you notice when I go to this interface again, I'll see any existing rules, so the one I just created a few minutes ago shows up. I could take this phrase post-1950 and add it to an existing rule along with dolls and bears. But in this case I want to actually do something different. I don't want to exclude these. I want to add or subtract a point from it. So what I'll do is I'll add it as a new rule. I'll say when the category contains the phrase post-1950, add a score of -1. That effectively will weight down those. Now, I might want to weight up chairs that are in this category, 1800 to 1899. So I can right click and create yet another new rule where the category contains the phrase, we'll want to add 1 point. Now let's say that there are particular things, say in the title, that are things that mean that this is a better chair and one that I'm more interested in. Say the word fancy. Here I can create a rule and I'll say where the title contains the phrase fancy, we'll also add a point. Now you'll notice that that would mean that any chairs that have the word fancy and are in the category will each get a point added for each of those two rules. I can continue in this way by finding terms that are of interest and adding them to my rule set. Now let's run our search right now and see what we get. I'll close the current results and I'll rerun my search. You'll notice now I happen to be sorting on this column with the highest at the top, that now I've gotten two chairs or two results that have come to the top of the list. They both contain the word fancy and they both are from the 1800 to 1899. That's followed by a series of items that have a 1 point score, most likely because of the date of 1800 to 1899. And then down below at the bottom of my list, let's just go down to the bottom, I see that the post-1950 chairs have all been weighted down to the bottom. Anything in between with 0 scores appear in the center. So as you can see, I can begin to refine my rules over time. As I look through my results, there may be things that I may want to eliminate. Eliminate anything with price guides or publications. Eliminate anything that's mid-century modernism, and so on. Add anything, a point to anything that has the word antique in the title. Where the title contains the phrase antique, add 1 to the score. Now if we take a look at our actual search results, we'll go back to where we were before and we'll go to our search rules tab. You'll see that now I've created rules and I can see each of my rules that apply to this particular search. In this case, where the category contains the phrase dolls and bears or price guides and publications, mid-century modernism, the item is excluded. You'll notice that where the title contains the phrase fancy or antique, I add 1 point. I can change my rules from here. I can remove rules that I don't want anymore, and I can actually directly edit things in this interface too. Let's say I was looking for anything that had rare, early, eagle in the title. I can edit it directly, hit OK to save that, and now let's rerun our search. So now you'll see the tool will begin sorting things and bubbling things to the top. It'll automatically begin, it keeps my sort order as the search is actually running, and the highest ranked items will automatically appear at the top as I begin processing my search. You'll notice if I go to the top, some of these have appeared because they may have certain terms in them such as rare and the date and antique, which added 3 points to it. Early, antique, and the date, and so on. And so I have a very flexible, very powerful way that I can add rules to my searches. I can eliminate items that I don't want to find. For example, you notice that there are 8 that are remaining that haven't been loaded. That's because they were eliminated or they were duplicate. And I can bubble to the top the items that I'm most interested in order to find the things that I'm looking for. So this is a great capability. It's one of the core capabilities of the U-Rule search tool and really is what makes it such a powerful tool for searching for things on eBay. In the next tutorial, we're going to talk about how to use the calendar. This concludes this tutorial on how to add rules using the rules interface in the U-Rule search tool.